Hey, today I will talk about numbers. All things which were first made by the nature of things seem to be formed by the proportion of numbers. Numbers are endowed with great and sublime dignity. Time consists of numbers, and all things which are subject to time, motion, and action. The movements of the planets, the sequence of the seasons, and the structure of physical bodies are determined by mathematical laws. Many things can be prognosticated by numbers, as each number vibrates on a particular level, bringing a unique reward or realization. Knowing your numbers, well, that can transform your life. The ancient Egyptians attached great importance to the significance of numbers and used them as the means of foretelling the future. But the foundation of known numerology today, we owe that to the Greeks and Hebrews. Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician and philosopher, said that the numbers are the first things of all nature. He believed that all natural phenomena could be reduced to terms of geometry and arithmetic. So he founded a school of philosophy based on this doctrine. The Hebrews form a set of beliefs called the Kabbalah. Those tenets received by tradition associated certain numbers with letters of their alphabet and thus formed the basis of the interpretation of names. Numerology interpretations are older than history. They date back to the time when the dawning intelligence of primitive man first visualized the meaning of number and associated it with a spiritual significance. So numbers are in fact a universal language, for they are understood by all rational living beings of every race. Number is a repetition of unity. So let's talk about number 1, which is a fountain, a common measure, original, the beginning of every multitude, always the same and unchangeable. In the ancient times it was said nothing is before one, nothing is after one, and beyond it is nothing. And all things which are desire that one, because all things proceeded from one, and that all things may be the same, it is necessary that they partake of that one. One, therefore, is referred to the higher power, higher vibration, creating innumerable things. Unity or monad, expressed by the number 1, is generally associated with the male rather than the female. Those who come under the influence of this number will show great tenacity, self-reliance, desire for action, and great achievements, and they may seem to take a pleasure in the assumption of great responsibilities. The less admirable influences of the number 1 can be intolerance, narrow-mindedness, or obstinacy. One might consider to be above others, not being ready to accept the opinions of older and more experienced generation. Duality, the number 2, or the duad as it was called by the Pythagoreans, represents both diversity and equality. The idea of diversity originates from the conception of two opposites like night and day or good and evil. Duad stands for balance, harmony, sympathy, and response. This number is traditionally associated with female rather than the male. This number is also called generation and Juno. This is a number of science and memory. Pythagoreans also said that 2 is not a number, but a certain confusion of unities, and it carries the stamp of boldness. Those influenced by the number 2 show great consideration of feelings of others. They're easy to become friends with and usually enjoy great success socially because of their ability to sympathize with all types of character. Adverse influences of duad are not very active, but may indicate some passive ones, thus becoming overly changeable and refusing to shoulder responsibility. The number 3, the ternary or the triad, is esteemed by many ancient philosophers as the perfect number. The Pythagoreans believed in 3 worlds, the inferior, the superior, and the supreme, while followers of Socrates and Plato acknowledged 3 great principles: matter, idea, and God. The 3 great virtues were justice, fortitude, and prudence. Pagan religions abound in threes. For example, victims were led 3 times around the table before being sacrificed, or prayers were repeated 3 times to ensure them being answered. The priestess of Apollo sat upon the tripod called the tripod of truth. It is considered to be essentially a male number. Coming under the influence of the triad, people become brilliant in many different kinds of enterprises, becoming notable for their organizing abilities. They have a knack for making people see things from their point of view. They're generally happy, adapting themselves well to any kind of company. Now, overconfidence of number 3 causes spectacular failures. sudden rises to fame only to have a startling downfall. And great enthusiasm may make these people impatient, which results in inability to carry through any project to the very end. The quaternary, the tetrad, tetractis, or the number 4, was regarded by many of the ancients as symbolic of the truth. Old Greeks considered this number to be the root of all things, as representing the 4 elements: fire, air, water, and earth. It may be interesting to add here that Pythagoras sometimes referred to the deity as the tetrad, or the 4 sacred letters, as the name of the god was Zeus in Greek. And Pythagoreans connected number 4 with an oath, called the Pythagorean Oath, of which I think I know the first line, and it goes something like this. I, with pure mind by the pure number 4, do swear, that's holy and the fountain of nature, eternal and parent of the mind. The word God in many languages is formed by 4 letters, so for example, Dios in Spanish, or Deva in Sanskrit, and so on. The number 4 produces stable character, people who are loyal and composed in almost all circumstances, capable of undertaking unpleasant and wearisome tasks. Their strong willpower is ever present. Main faults of those influenced by number 4 are clumsiness and inclination towards dullness, displaying certain lack of initiative and excessive conservatism. They are reluctant to adapt themselves in what they may see as strange surroundings. Number 5, the quincunx or the pentad, was regarded by the followers of Pythagoras as well as by Jewish and Arabic philosophers as the symbol of health, and the Egyptians saw in it a mark of prosperity. But on the whole, the pentad seems to have symbolized marriage, being fertile, and procreation. This belief may have originated from the idea that 5 is the union of 3 and 2, male and female number. In ancient Rome, its significance was emphasized by burning 5 candles during the marriage ceremony. The pentad is geometrically represented by a regular 5-sided plane or by a pyramid. It also takes the shape of 5-pointed star, which is one form of the ancient Seal of Solomon. So those who are under the influence of number 5 are adventurous types, capable of taking many and varied tasks, although not necessarily with great success. In face of difficulties, these people are courageous. Their body and mental health is exceptionally good. They are great explorers and travelers. These people are very susceptible, so they may have many love affairs. However, they're also irresponsible and rash, lacking in concentration, and can be seen as unreliable and untrustworthy. The hexagon, the number 6 or the hexad, is represented geometrically by a 6-sided balanced figure, or by 2 intersecting triangles known as the Seal of Solomon. By the Jews, 6 was considered a sacred number, for the world was created in 6 days. It is a number of perfection, as it is the most perfect in nature. Pythagoreans called it the scale of the world. Heathen peoples used the double triangle as a charm to ward off evil spirits. In nature, many examples of the hexagonal are found in the form of crystals. The hexad was always considered to be one of the happiest numbers, as it represents perfect harmony and completion. Influence of number 6 makes people idealistic, acting in an honest and careful manner, which they consider to be best for the common good. Hexad types are cheerful and make good companions. They're fully aware of their responsibilities. There are not many unfavorable qualities. Sometimes they possess excessive idealism or don't take good care of monetary resources, and they might lack in a fighting spirit. The number 7, the sepentary or the heptad, is certainly the most interesting and most mysterious of the primary numbers. The Pythagoreans thought of it as the highest primary number, which was complete in itself and incapable of division by any other except number 1. To the Greeks and Romans, it was the symbol of good fortune. Ancient philosophers saw in it the sign of custody through the influence of the 7 planets. The 7 notes in music gave rise to the philosophy of the harmony of the spheres, and universe was seen as one vast musical scale. There were 7 Gothic gods, the 7 worlds believed in by the Chaldeans, 7 degrees of initiation in various Eastern orders, the 7 plagues of Egypt. The heptad may be said to be imbued with the qualities of wisdom, endurance, evolution, balance, and completion. As a number in everyday life, it is usually considered to be lucky. Much can be said about number 7, and perhaps at some point in the future I will make a video dedicated to the 7, as this number is most potent of all, as in good, so in evil. Now, those who become under his influence are the world's great thinkers, writers, and philosophers, fighting to maintain their theories and principles. They are regarded as being ahead of their time. These people love mental exercises and solitude, sometimes too much, which may cause morbidness, becoming overly critical regarding the actions of others, and they might refuse to make any practical use of the knowledge they possess, devoting their time only to acquire further knowledge. The octahedron, the number 8, or the Ogdoad, greatly esteemed in ancient Egypt, where it was customary to have 8 people in each boat taking part in sacred processions of the Nile. This custom may have originated from the flood of the Noah's Ark. By the mathematical philosophers, the Ogdoad was regarded as the first cube, having 6 sides and 8 angles, and as such signified reality and strength. Being the highest of the even primary numbers, it is the ultimate symbol of balance. Ancients say this number was dedicated to Dionysus, as he was born on the 8th month, and there were 8 deities: fire, water, earth, the heaven, the moon, the sun, the night, and Phanes, a primeval deity who was born from the cosmic egg at the beginning of the creation. Main trait of those under influence of this number is extreme practicality. They possess great will to succeed. It is not easy for them to fall passionately in love. They prefer a constant and faithful connection which brings security and real happiness. They need to learn how to cultivate imagination, having faith rather than demanding proof, to consider rather than to condemn hastily. The nonagon, the number 9, or the Ennead, was known to the ancients as perfection and concord, and as being unbounded, dedicated to the muses, which are, and I think I remember them all correctly, Calliope, Urania, Polymnia, Terpsichore, Clio, Melpomene, Erato, Euterpe, and Thalia. The muses are connected to the 9 spheres, but I will talk more on that in the future videos. The number 9 is unique, as if 9 is multiplied by itself or any single figure, the two figures in the product when added together always equal 9. So for example, 9 times 3 is 27, 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81, and 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 times 5 is 45, 4 plus 5 is 9, and so on. There are numerous examples portraying this peculiar property of 9. It is called concord because it unites into one all the other primary numbers, and perfection because 9 months is the prenatal life of the child. In ancient Rome, the market days were called novendinae, for they were held every 9 days. Lars Porsena of Clusium, Etruscan king, by the 9 gods he swore. The Hydra, mythical monster, had 9 heads. The river Styx was supposed to encircle the infernal regions 9 times. Magicians of all times would draw a magic circle 9 feet in diameter and raise departed spirits, and so on. Those under the influence of Ennead show great intelligence and the power of understanding and discretion. They know how to use their knowledge, and their interests do not lie much in practical matters as in affairs of the intellect, philosophy, and logic. They make good friends. They do not take advantage of another person. They can become excessive in daydreaming, putting too much value in knowledge itself, thus not being ambitious and lacking in progress. Lastly, they're fortunate enough to be blessed with natural gifts, and should do everything that is in their power to put these to best purpose for benefiting both themselves and the world at large. And this is it for today. Next time, more on numbers. Quote for today is by Theodor Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, and he said, "You have to be odd to be number 1." Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, press a like button, leave a comment, and I will be seeing you in a couple of days. Take good care of yourself. Bye.